True North Reviews, True North Reviews, True North Reviews.
Hey there, welcome to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we are discussing the Kacey Musgraves album, Star-Crossed. This is the fifth studio record by the American singer and songwriter. Her previous album, Golden Hour, is critically acclaimed, without a doubt, the pinnacle of Kacey's career thus far. But as I typically am with most Album of the Year award winners at the Grammys, I was skeptical of Golden Hour, probably the only music critic that would voice that opinion, and I'm still skeptical of that album to this day. Certainly it must seem like I'm kicking someone while they're down, but I wouldn't call myself much of a Kacey Musgraves music fan in general either, mostly owing to the fact that Kacey is very watered down in her pop and country fusing. Plus, it doesn't help her case that I've always just preferred other artists more like Taylor Swift and Kelsea Ballerini. However, this record here, Star-Crossed, has renewed my sense of optimism for Kacey's music somewhat. Unfortunate, it does come at a tumultuous time when Kacey has recently separated from fellow singer-songwriter Rustin Kelly, but despite that loss in her life, it's opened the door for possibilities to write from a more personal and heartfelt place. Translation: this could be a record that might even reel in her most skeptical listeners, such as myself, to indulge. Now, what did we actually get on Star-Crossed? Is it something that should be turning more heads, or is it just more overhyped pop country music? To answer those questions, I would say it's a decent showing. There is a significant portion of the record that I do think is worth your attention, but there's also a lot of throwaway or filler too. Starting on the positives though, the title track that opens the record features a very catchy hook. The song itself takes a while to get going, but I would be remiss to say it's not a pretty start at that. Transitioning through the song, Star-Crossed has a faded or hazy production style to it, which is interesting when you think of its significance in the bigger picture and the narrative focus of the record. That hazy or blurry production possibly acts as a fuzzy memory of her past relationship that Kacey explores even more in depth on the record's subsequent track, Good Wife. On this tune, Kacey elevates her dynamics on the chorus as it's another standout in the track list in my opinion. What edges out Good Wife though as a superior song is Cherry Blossom. An even more infectious tune is here as it builds on top of the first two tracks with more conviction. Moving along to Simple Times and If This Was a Movie, here is where the record gets bogged down in other artists' influence. Simple Times sounding like TLC's No Scrubs, except with half the energy. If This Was a Movie is an underwhelming detour into this ill-defined area of alternative rock. Frankly, I'm not even convinced the track should be classified as country, so it's a little unnecessary to be here. The song Justified, though, turns things around for a moment, however briefly. I certainly appreciate this track a hell of a lot more than I did at first. Lyrically, it's engaging. I find myself fond of the lines about healing not coming in a straight line. Here, it's easy to empathize with Kacey as we see her needing extra time to get over this ex, and it's not up to him to decide when it's acceptable, just this very empowering narrative. Another favorite song of mine on Star-Crossed comes on Breadwinner. Surprisingly so, since it does go into a poppier sonic direction, emphasizing the lavish and luxurious production. Moving on to Easier Said, this track explores the difficulty of moving on from a relationship. It does seem like a carbon copy, at least lyrically, of the track Justified, but musically there's a lot to enjoy here. Stripping things back to acoustic guitar, the song's camera roll and hookup scene are some of the more subdued cuts on the record. The former having a simple tune, nothing too complex as Kacey details a relationship that has come and passed, but the protagonist still keeps old pictures from their shared trips on her phone. The latter cut in hookup scene feels like a very personal track dear to Kacey's heart. Again, I truly empathize with her here, and I get the sense that she longs to have kept what is now a broken relationship. She quite literally wants her heart to be mended, but she's now in the hookup scene that has taught her this lesson that it's not all what it's made out to be. Musically, hookup scene, its novelty could wear off in time, but it's still something I enjoyed earlier on in the listening counts. Adding in elements of humming, maybe not the most predictable direction in Kacey's music, Certainly would be more of an expectation on a Kid Cudi song. But on the track What Doesn't Kill Me, the hums in harmony are great. Granted, Kacey doesn't have the steadiest or strongest falsetto to complement, but the tune is fantastic. Then listeners are greeted to the song There Is a Light. On it, I adore the 16th notes of hi-hat to maintain an unshakable groove. And the flute in the interlude is an absolute highlight of the album as well. Ending the record, though, comes on the track Gracias a la Vida. At first, I confused it for an Italia La Friccata song. That said, the vocal filters that are modified and reshaped throughout the runtime are harrowing and interesting. It's as if Kacey has completed this tale of divorce through the album by literally speaking from the perspective of the man of the relationship. Overall, Star-Crossed follows recent albums that laid the blueprint for Kacey Musgraves. I think of The Chicks narratively when it comes to all this talk of divorce. I also think of Kelsea Ballerini sonically for being very pop-leaning. That said, I don't see Star-Crossed directly imitating those artists, like it's not that obvious. Now, for someone who needs a soft entry point into the Kacey Musgraves discography, this might be as good as any. Just be on the lookout for that hazy production that could be a detriment to the overall listening experience of the album. It could put a damper on some things, but needless to say, I'm pretty indifferent to this album. I'm still not completely won over by Kacey based on this one, but there are some songs I take away and I do enjoy from it. With all that being said, I am feeling a 5 out of 10 on Star-Crossed. That's it. That's the review for today. Make sure you guys sound off down below in the comments. Tell me what you guys think of this music, whether you agree or disagree. I'm here to engage with you guys. If you'd like to leave a like, subscribe if you're new in town. I'd appreciate that as always. Thanks for watching and have a rockin' day.